It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? We made it to the weekend. It is showtime. Geno Jones Showtime. You know what time it is. What time is it? It's about 6:31 on the East Coast, 5:31 in Chicago, live in Los Angeles, 3:31. So we hit you right at 6:30 with my open. You just saw that. My number one guest host, Miss Kelia Karson, is going to be joining me. She was like stuck in traffic up in Detroit City. She lives in one of the surrounding suburbs, so she'll be jumping on shortly. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for subscribing. I am approaching 1,000 subscribers, so please do me a favor. It will help my media company, Geno Media. We need more black-owned media, and the more subscribers and the more you watch, the longer you watch, that you binge watch in your favorite episodes, watch over and over, but spread the word. Tell everybody to subscribe to the channel. They won't regret it, I promise. And you know it, for those who have been watching me for 4 years now. Some of you guys have been with me. You've been down with me from day one. Some of you guys are relatively new, have been watching this show maybe for only a week or a couple weeks. And there's my people just jumped on. You'll see her on camera shortly. So spread the word. Subscribe, share, screen grab, or rip some of the video. Like, binge watch all my back episodes, and please leave your comments in the comment section. Okay, so today is November 15th. Shout out to everybody that got paid. Shout out to everybody that still got some money left in their check after they got through paying bills and everything. Shout out to folks that had enough money to put some in the bank or to buy some stocks or whatever. Because, you know, we got a whole different energy. For us, by us. Yes, we realized the night of November 5th, really November 6th, that nobody's going to come save us. Nobody's coming to save us, all right? But you know what? We're all we got. But guess what? Yes, we are all we got, but we are all we need. We got everything that we need. We are the most educated, the highest educated, more degrees, so many people, so talented. We are like the dreams of our ancestors. I mean, they sacrificed, they dreamed about having grandchildren and great-grandchildren, just dominant in every field and arena, from sports, medicine, politics, media, law, you name it, business, come on. For us, by us, we are all we got. We're really all we need. And to the black women watching the show, because it's a daily mantra now, to the black women of America who feel alone and still dealing with anxiety and disillusionment and disappointment and despair and fear and frustration, and you just feel like saying, fuck it. We got you. The real black men, we got you. We got your back. And we love you. We absolutely, positively love you. Because we can't do it alone. You know, we got it together. United we stand. Supporting everything from the black farmers and buying some land. Let's buy some land. Black-owned banks, grocery stores, transportation companies, manufacturing companies, black hospitals, health clinics, more doctors and nurses, researchers, scientists discovering cures for disease, black-owned investment companies, black-owned media, black-owned real estate companies, black-owned mortgage companies. So if you can't get a home loan or a small business loan from Wells Fargo or Chase Bank or Bank of America, the bank of black folks. Support the black-owned banks in your community, in your city. Support, start, invest. Or maybe, you know, if you're doing okay, you see somebody that you believe in and you see that's got the gift and all they need is the resources, be that angel investor. That's how our ancestors did it. This is Reconstruction Part 2. Here we are. The end of Reconstruction Part 2. 1877 was the first Reconstruction. So I digress. Because Friday, you know, we like to have fun, and there's nobody else on the planet to have more fun and better fun with than my number one co-host. Regis had Kathy Lee, and Desi had Lucy Arnaz, and James had Florida, and Fred Sanford had Esther. But I got the number one co-host in the history of humankind, the number one co-host in all the universe, solar system, galaxy, melanated black woman magic. There she is, soon to be doctor. Put some respect on that doctor title. Doctor, you got to say it the right way. Dr. Kelia Karson. Kelia Karson!
Hey, I'm feeling that Esther and
Fred G. Fred G. Stanford. And the G stands for Goofy.
G stands for.
That was my dude, the late Red Fox. Funny.
love
Legendary
Red
comedian.
Fox.
Underrated, yes.
Yeah, one of my favorite jokes is by Red Fox, but it's too dirty for me to tell on the show.
Come on now. This is YouTube. This is the Geno Jones Show. This is Friday,
you really
Key.
You want me to tell it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. Listen.
Okay, I'll tell it.
Key, we need more laughter now. Laughter is going to
be.
be.
Yeah.
Along with building this community, we still got to have laughter and joy. That is
so,
because there's enough anxiety and despair and fear. We're not doing none of that. None of that.
Okay, well, in the spirit of bringing joy, because I don't like to do lewd and lascivious on camera, but here's the joke.
Listen, we know part of the Divine Nine. We know the Soros. You all are top shelf, but even top shelf, we'll go ahead when the top shelf run out. Go ahead and give me some of that stock. I'll take that. Let me take a shot of that stock liquor. Some of that brown liquor. And my ass don't even drink nothing but.
Okay. And I don't mess with brown liquor,
water.
baby. Right. Me, I'm drinking Speedway coffee. So okay, here's my favorite Fred Sanford joke.
And you gotta put the G, because remember it was Fred G. Sanford.
Okay. So, a beautiful woman. She's just beautiful. Beautiful body, face. She had it all, right? But she don't have a man. And she can't figure out why. So, this was such a bad situation. The woman went to the doctor. She said to her doctor, what's wrong? I'm beautiful. I got a banging body, face. Why can't I find a man? So he said, well, let me check you out. Let me see what's going on. So he said, open up your eyes and, check the eyes. Okay. And checked up her nose. You know how they look up your nose. And then he said, say, ah. And she said, ah. And he checked, And then he said, now, this is going to seem a little radical, but I need for you to turn around and let me check everything down there. So he checked everything down there. And then he wrote down his little notes and he said, so, I think I figured it out. And she said, what is it, doctor? Why can't I find a man? I'm so beautiful and I got this body. He said, well, you have a severe case of Zachley. And she said, what exactly, doctor? I never heard exactly. He said, your breath smells exactly like your ass.
I think I heard him say that. Yes, I love, man, Red Fox is amazing. He was one of course, the greats from the past, we think about Richard Pryor, and people got to talk about Dick Gregory because he's really underrated.
Yeah, Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory opened doors for like Richard Pryor. He was doing stuff like Ed Sullivan. Shows that like no black comedians had never went on the Tonight Show. But Red Fox is like right in that same vibe.
Right in that same
era. He was really a funny dude. And I heard some stories. As a matter of fact, was it George Lopez? It was a comedian that's famous. And I want to say George Lopez was some well-known comedian that was, before he really blew up, he had got down on his luck and needed some money. And so he called somebody that I guess maybe his manager used to manage Red Fox. There was like a
Some
6 degrees
connection.
of separation.
Yeah.
And so man, I swear, I'm almost certain it was George Lopez, but I could be wrong. But anyway, he just told the story about how Red Fox like not loaned him, gave him like a lot of money. I mean, the numbers popping up in my head, something like 80,000, but it was in the thousands of dollars. Just gave it
Yeah.
to him and just said something, get it together. But
You know,
I
there
heard other stories that Red Fox was very, very generous, and he helped a lot financially. He helped a lot of people out in Hollywood, a lot of comedians. So
and it just goes to how you started the show. I know most people see George Lopez as a Mexican. But again, for us, by us, we have been helping each other without talking about it. I mean, uh, a lot of people saw the Cat Williams interview where he um, gave to a lot of, and still does, um, actors and comedians and people in need. He takes very good care of his circle. You have people like Prince who never talked about
never.
what he did for people. I mean, hey, uh
Prince probably gave away easily in the millions.
I
I don't have a
I'm
number.
sure of it.
Yeah, but I
I'm sure of
guarantee
it.
you it was in the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Prince would do stuff for people, and he would like tell his lawyer or his
Yep.
representative. It was like basically you could not tell them who this is from,
That's right.
and he would.
And another one like that, recent day, Tyler Perry. Um,
Yeah,
people
I
don't
know.
know.
I never knew about him being generous with people in the
Yeah.
entertainment. I know one year he went to a Walmart in suburban Atlanta
Yep.
and
Yeah.
paid for like everything that was in the layaway. The
Yep.
whole layaway, he
Yep.
paid for it.
Yep.
Like
And
anybody that had anything in a layaway, and it was right around Christmas time at
yep.
whatever Walmart or Sam's Club he went to, he just paid for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cat Williams, Key, uh, I've seen Dion Cole tell the story about how
The
uh,
comedian. Yeah.
I forgot where. Yeah, the comedian. He's from Chicago, but he talked about he did a set and somebody brought him like an envelope, like a white envelope, and it was like he said like $1,000 in it.
Mm.
But the person didn't tell him who it was from, but somehow he found out that it was Cat Williams that had did
Mm.
that. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is who we are. Um, when there's need, we reach out and we help each other. And in the spirit of that, last Tuesday or Wednesday, the need for mental health and the
Yes.
need to uplift was great for people of color and others, but people of color really felt the pinch. And I want to tell you that I remember that feeling in 2016.
Thank you, Key. I'm glad you went there.
Yeah.
We got some other stuff we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Some
And
good
I'm just
news
going to
about
hit this
Eddie
quickly.
Murphy, but no, that's because so full disclosure, Key and I talked yesterday, and the story you were about to hear, she told me, and it blew me away because I didn't know it. So Key, please just tell the
So
story.
2016, that's the first time that Mr. Thing is elected. And I thought I had died. I said, I know I'm alive. I'm breathing. I can, touch myself. But inside, I felt like death. I I just put the covers over my head, and for 4 years, 365 times 4, every day I woke up to the news. It was a horror show, from the Muslim ban on day 1 to
Yes.
COVID and the deaths on year 4 when we threw Mr. out of the building. The insurrection, that's when when I started with you right before the insurrection.
Yeah, about 4 years ago this month. You're right.
Yeah. And my mental health was fried.
Wow.
It was a horror show. The depression, and I didn't even know it until I got out of it. I had been depressed for 4 years, afraid that this man was going to kill the country. And in some ways, he did. I mean, for it to literally end up in COVID, in the death
of 1.1 million people, unfortunately. Yes, you're right.
Was what I felt in 2016.
And Key, I remember, and so I want you can just tell it on camera in your own story, but when you told me, you said, gee, I was every day for that 4-year period
every day
he got out of office, that you had this fear. I was like,
every day,
Key.
If people had really sat and remember the day-to-day news stories about from Ukraine to the two
chaos.
It was just chaos every day.
Every day.
It was something new. I mean, I felt like, where am I living in an alternate universe? So when we get to 2024, this recent, let me tell you what, in the power of God and the power of, you got bigger things to do than to let this nonsense bring you or your people or other people down. When it wasn't looking good, I took my remote control. I turned off that TV. I said, well, God, I guess you got a plan that we don't understand. And we're taught in church that we should not yield to our own understanding. Therefore, I am going to turn off this news, whatever news it is, CNN, MSN, Fox, whatever I turned it off. And I said, for the next 4 years, I am trusting in the Lord. For the next 2 years, I got to finish my doctorate degree. I got things to do, and I got a purpose for my people. So I am getting off of this media train, and I am not ruining my mental health, because that guy, I don't believe that our God would let him succeed. So I just have to trust and let it go. So I'm focusing on my education and how I can educate others, other brown people.
Well, that's part of building this community, Key. It's going to be important.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it's going to be super important because now these states are going to be emboldened to ban books. Now, speaking of ban books, so I came up, I had to pat myself on the back. I don't normally do that. Honestly, I don't. I don't. And Key, but she knows that's not me. Now, Key, am I one that's always? I don't pat myself on the back. I really don't. I'm really my own worst critic. But I was like, this is a good idea. So I want to get your feedback. But I know you're going to love it. So, okay, y'all want to ban books? I remember a time to where in black households, they had libraries. I mean, it may not be a fancy library. Like I said, my mother bought, by the time I hit 8th grade, she had bought 2 full sets of encyclopedias. The red World Book Encyclopedia, that's the real old school. It was red, I'll never forget, like red, navy blue. And then she bought me the like kind of cream color and brown Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yep.
And paid on installment. This little old man, this old Jewish guy named Mr. Nathan. I'm sure mother's watching now. He would come around the house once a month. He was a nice guy. You know, they good friends, because he would sit around and talk for 30, 40 minutes like, Mr. Nathan, you want something? That's just how my grandmother was.
And for the youngins out there who don't understand, the encyclopedias were our Google. We didn't have internet. There was no we had no
That was
concept
Google.
of
You're right.
that was Google. Yeah, we had no concept of because we didn't have it. We didn't have internet at that time. We didn't have cable. We didn't have any of this media that you know today.
It was like 4 or 5 channels, and some of them went off at late at night, and you would hear
Right,
these bars and tones. They would play the
right.
national anthem, and you
And
would
then
just
snow or snow.
right, right. You're right. That's true. That is true. So here was the idea, Key. So okay, I want to go ahead and ban books. We got you. We got this. I said, as a matter of fact, I tried to find a list on camera, but I saw a story online because you got these Moms for Liberty, which is Moms for MAGA cult.
Yeah.
They're on a lot of school boards, and they're behind all these lists of banned books. So I said, you know what? Let's everybody in whatever state you live in get a list of all the books that are on the banned book list. If you have a Moms for MAGA, they call it Moms for Liberty group that's banning books. As a matter of fact, I would be like an infiltrator. I'd be like, oh yeah, Moms for Liberty, yes, your parent, all that old bullshit they talking. Hey, let me get to your list, or email me your list. Let me get your list. Get the list, Key, and buy every damn book on the list.
Yeah.
And wait,
Nothing.
we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna buy. First of all, we're gonna buy the physical book itself. We go to a bookstore. Hopefully, go to a black-owned bookstore. So that's the first priority. We're gonna skip Barnes and Noble. We're gonna go to a black-owned bookstore, and if they don't have it, we're gonna order it. And on top of it, then we'll go online. And if the black-owned bookstore has an online presence, buy the ebook and the audiobook.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, listen, knowledge is power. And I don't know. Okay, if Moms for Liberty are out there, taking down books, are they out there taking down the video games that their sons and daughters are playing in the back room?
Nope.
No, they're not doing that. But you're gonna take down books because they're damaging your children. Are you taking down the YouTube and the social media that they're on? Listen, books are power. And when you read books, you do 3 things. One, you learn what words are and how they come together. Number 2, you imagine, you create, But number 3, you learn. And it's not always overt and over the top. A book like Of Mice and Men teaches us about, yes, sexual assault and all those different things, but it also teaches us about people who are different from us, people who have disability, because he had a disability. And so you learn about things without even realizing. So we cannot ban books because they're uncomfortable for us. They tell us about ourselves. We are uncomfortable people.
Well, they're
People
not
are
banning it because
uncomfortable.
it's uncomfortable to black folks.
Well,
They'll claim it's uncomfortable for their white children, but the thing is, they don't want their children to grow up and have empathy, compassion, humanity, and decency.
well, I got
They
news
want to
for.
continue poison them, with this poison of racism and hatred and bigotry in all of its forms
But it's
of
not
hate
working.
and
It's not
misogyny and
working.
sexism.
It's not working because they're so worried about the books that they're not seeing that their Caucasian kids or their European-esque children are online with black people, with Native Americans, with Mexicans, and they're friends. They're playing video games with somebody in Mexico from Iowa where they live.
That's a
They're
good point.
already exposed to these groups, and the parents, what the parents look like to the kids are crazy. These kids are looking at their parents like, what's wrong with my daddy and my mom are crazy.
But
Okay.
there was a really there was a plan, and it was a very active push to recruit a lot of young white males into this MAGA cult. And they were able to snatch a significant number of them. The majority of Gen Z voted for Kamala Harris, but I think the Gen Zs, they were white males. I think old boy on chill I think he got more votes. So there was an effort to continue to spread that poison and ignorance and
Well,
fear.
you're going to have that. No, uh, no drive or system to capture any group of people is 100% successful. So you're gonna have people that get sliver out the net and do what they
Indoctrinated and
do.
hate. Yep.
Exactly. So we're not going to be able to create a utopia, I don't think ever.
No.
And nor should we want to. We should not want a group think, as we call it in academia, where everybody thinks alike, because then you don't have any creative thought. However, I think more and the numbers are showing this as we go on year to year. By 2050, I think is what the current trajectory
Yeah.
is. We're going to be a non-white society.
Majority people of color.
Yeah.
Because they'll say minority, but no, because the truth, like on the planet, the majority of people on the planet are people of melanin,
of color,
of some
Yep.
color.
Yep. So, I don't know why. I don't get it, but of course I'm black, so I'm not going to necessarily get all of it. I do understand the thought of being eradicated, the thought of, oh Lord, there won't be any other people that look like me. I get that.
Key. Let me
Well, but pause. Wait a minute. Let me finish my thought. I get what that could feel like, because we have been uh marginalized since we were brought to this country. So I get it. But what we didn't do is we did not say we want you to go away, other. We said, let us be who we are. And we can do this together. We can both exist. We don't even have to work with you, but leave us alone.
But let me just say this, Key, because here's I have this Friday, and I do it every day, but I got to call out the bullshit, okay? Because this whole thing about white replacement theory and white people are going to be extinct. Stop. This whole construct, this made-up bullshit of race and whiteness, black. Listen, if you get a DNA test, I guarantee you, I'll bet you a lifetime salary to $1.
You're already black.
When the DNA test comes back, Key, it will not say
you've been black.
You're 85% white. Or it'll say you are 85% maybe from Cameroon or Nigeria or Irish or Scottish or the Netherlands or from India, China, but it won't. It's not gonna say before the 1680s, Key. White people in Europe didn't call themselves white. They didn't. So this whole construct of this whiteness, it was created for a small handful of people who controlled the financial, the economic, social, and political power to pit each other, the poor working class whites or non-melanated people against the people with levels of melanin.
Yeah. It's a way to indoctrinate the mentality of us. Oh, here, let me do it like this. Us and them. Down here, at the bottom. Us and them.
Keep them fighting.
That's right.
Make these white people think that the reason that they can't live in a big mansion and have a plantation and own hundreds of slaves, is because those black people are dangerous and they are a threat. And all
And we're inferior.
yes, but
Inferior.
the men, they'll ruin your women, and with their endowment, and the women, the Hottentot and the Jezebels, they're just sexual beasts, all that bullshit.
The movie, what was it, Birth of a Nation?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I encourage everybody to Google Bacon's Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion, late 1700s. It was a time to where our enslaved African ancestors and the poor white peasants who were like the overseers.
Yeah. Yes.
So the white people with money saw like the Irish immigrants that came over and said, okay, well, you get to oversee them. Now, they gave them just enough to survive. Just enough. But they were never going to make enough money to buy a plantation and own slaves. But those enslaved ancestors and those Irish people that came over who were like overseers, somebody pulled, as my grandfather said, pulled their coat. And they
said,
got together like,
you're a Negro too.
Hold on here. Hold on.
You're a Negro too.
Saying this about you, but wait a minute. Y'all ain't the problem. His ass is the problem. Yep. Bacon's Rebellion. Google it.
Yep.
Read it. It was an uprising.
It's a very good piece of history, and it just goes to show you that. And I think I may have mentioned this to you the other day when we talked, that we got to wake up, because there are more of us than it is them. Whoever you consider them to be, politicians, Washington elite, inside, whatever you want.
The billionaire class, the 1%.
That's right. There are more of us. And at any moment, when we decide collectively that we're not taking this anymore, it's easy peasy.
And one thing I stressed yesterday, Key, because it's so important, because the feelings and the emotions are so raw, and you've got many black people in America that's disappointed, but you got many that's. I'm not disappointed. I expect people to be themselves.
Yep.
And all America did was show the world who America really is. Now, the irony is, you got just as many or more who are not on that bullshit, but then despair, misinformation, disinformation, thousands and thousands of Russian bots, people sitting in warehouses in Moscow and other parts, St. Petersburg, different parts of Russia, pretending to be black people, trying to encourage black people not to vote, to be hopeless, all that two birds of the same, two birds of the same feather, all that kind of BS that was on social media, and try to pit black men against black women. All that went on.
Yeah, you know what? This is me on social media now.
Well,
I just scroll past it, because I'm not going to let MAGA win.
So there's a mass movement to everybody get off X or Twitter.
Yeah, I saw one of your favorites, Joy Reid. She sent out. Is that your delete?
Bluesky. There you go. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, well, we really can't see it, but I'm assuming it's your.
All right.
Delete
Bluesky.
account. Okay, so
it's an app like Twitter.
I left X when it was still Twitter. Just saying.
Did you leave it before Elon Musk or after Elon?
No, once he took over, I said goodbye, and so I've been gone. And I remember when Whoopi Goldberg came on The View and said she was done, and I just saw Joy Reid the other day saying she said she hasn't been on it, but she didn't close down the account, but she says she just had to close down. And let me tell you why. It's not just because you don't want to support and help people who are against your livelihood, your self-preservation. You don't want to help them succeed. That's one thing. But the other thing is you don't want that trash getting into your psyche. You know, you have a right to protect your mental health.
Yeah,
And
you do.
right now, I'm just asking everybody who was upset about the election, whatnot, calm down and trust. I don't care if it's God, Allah, whatever higher power you believe in, trust that this go around, what this one think he about to do, he ain't about to do it.
And understand, to just add on and piggyback to what Keela is saying. I'm not a preacher, but I know there's a famous quote: "Faith without works is
That's
dead."
right. It's
So
dead.
that's why we got to put the work in. I go back to the top of the show, just supporting each other on every level, every level. Support, start, invest into black-owned businesses. We have Black Americans have 3.1 trillion with a T.
Wow.
$3.1 trillion of spending power annually. Now, we don't have that kind of wealth, unfortunately, so we need to start working on that wealth.
Yep.
3.1 trillion dollars in spending power every year.
And listen, if you can't start big, start small. Here's what I'm saying. Put on your list for holiday list. I don't know if Geno's gonna do his, buy black. Uh
Well, you know what? Well, make your point, and then I want you to come back to that because it's funny you said that. Because I swear to God, I've been thinking about that all week, Keith.
okay. So
I'm glad you mentioned that.
pick pick 4 or 5 items. You're gonna buy them anyway. Right now it's early, right before Thanksgiving when we start having Black Friday and all that stuff. Start looking at 3, 4, 5 black businesses. I don't care if it's black soap, black lotion, black hair product, black purse. Um, Pick a few gifts that you can buy that are black owned that you know. Also, stop scrolling by when you see black businesses online. Stop and find out what is that. Save it to your favorites so that you might not have the money today or whatever, but save that and think of it like a phone book or a Rolodex that you can go back and go, oh, wait a minute. I saw a black woman that sells cupcakes. We just got a new cupcake place here. I saw it on Facebook the other day and I said, oh, who is this sister opening up a cupcake business in Detroit? I said, I'm gonna have to stop by there. I don't eat a lot of sweets anymore, but I'm going to give me a cupcake. So, and I'm going to share it with other people. So, do a little bit at a time. Also, don't be afraid to launch that thing that you've been trying to do. Do it in your spare time. Do it. Listen, instead of taking your tail up to the club, drinking, which is good too. It's all right. It's all right to go have a little drink with the friends, but a lot of those drinks on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Wednesday and happy hour on Thursday, you can put that time into yourself. Something you've been trying to do.
So, Key.
Start believing in yourself to do what you want to do.
So, Key, since you were talking about black-owned businesses and you were talking about food, so you've been hard being the best version of Dr. Kelia Karson. But, so, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Anyway, earlier this week, I told everybody about Good Foods. Good is spelled Goode. You know about Good Foods?
Okay, no, I'm listening.
Check it out. So Good Foods is a black-owned canned goods food company. And I went online. So my cousin, shout out to Sonny. The world knows him as a retired master sergeant in the Marines, Roy Gray. Sonny, but we call him, Sonny, because, family, Everybody got like a little nickname, a pet name.
I'm
So,
looking it up
so
right
check
now
this
as you
out, Key.
talking. Good
Good,
food.
Goode Foods. It was founded in 2003 by a brother named Emil Johnson. Now, they have all kind of great canned goods, but supposedly it's a lot healthier. As a matter of fact, it, they kind of tout that this is canned good foods that don't necessarily taste like your typical canned good foods. Now,
I found it.
they are in Kroger
I found it.
and Walmart. Now, unfortunately, Kroger and Walmart were two huge donors to Orange Hitler's campaign. However, the brother has got his products in 13 states, including Illinois, where the company is based in suburban Chicago, Arlington Heights, Illinois, which is northwest of downtown Chicago. So,
So
but
they have online Lincolnshire, Illinois, or
yeah,
Lincoln.
yep,
Okay.
yep. But so you can go to a Kroger. They don't have Krogers in Chicago, but I think the same company that owned Kroger's, Albertson, they either bought Mariano's or Jewel. So anyway, but you can find good foods at a Walmart or Kroger's in Illinois. So Chicago, Peoria, stand up in Georgia, Atlanta, in Texas, Houston and Dallas, Wisconsin, and Kelia Karson in Michigan.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm on Walmart right now looking at it. I'm looking at whole kernel corn and green beans.
And I did that, Key, because listen, Thanksgiving is right around the corner on the
Yeah.
28th.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
13 days away. So, if you're going to get those canned goods,
Yep.
support a black owned business.
Yeah, I'm on it right now because I was trying to. Oh, here's what I wanted. I wanted to try to give the audience a glimpse. I see sweet peas, black beans. I mentioned the corn, whole corn kernel, um, green beans. People love green beans for the holiday. It says non-GMO.
Yes.
That's excellent. No sugar added, diabetics. PBA free, so that's like the stuff in the can that poison your food and
Preserves it. Okay.
exactly. So it's PBA free and recyclable.
Wow.
Also, the containers, I guess they found a way to recycle. USA grown, so it's not coming from China. Gluten free. So if you're a gluten person, to my Jewish friends, it's kosher.
Wow.
Wow.
Smart.
And for my brothers and sisters out there and my seniors who need a little help, it's WIC approved.
I love it. Shout out to Emil Johnson. I got to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
There you
Yep.
go.
So again, that's a way you're gonna buy those things anyway. And you can order because I was just on the Walmart website. Again, I know you're like, oh my God, I don't want to order green beans. Listen, even if you don't order in time enough for the holiday, come on now. Everybody does green beans and corn or at some point. So why not just order from the good food and support our black companies? Because hopefully in return, what happens is that same company gives back to their communities, which includes you.
And plus, listen, ho ho ho, Green Giant and Del Monte got enough of our damn money anyway. So
Yeah. I don't buy them, no way, not anymore. I stopped buying them. I can't even remember the last time I bought a can of any of that.
that commercial, ho ho ho, Green Giant. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Marketing is powerful, Keith. Well, you know that. It's
Yeah.
amazing how powerful marketing is, and it just stays in your subliminal part of your mind.
Yeah. That's what it's for.
And that commercial is
remind you.
old as Moses.
And it's still
You can still hear it in your head and see it.
Yep. Yeah. No, I pick my green beans now, and I pick my greens, and well, I don't pick them. I I clean them though. I stopped a lot of supporting that kind of thing, but I'm going to look online and see what other products Good Food has and make sure. I think I'm gonna order the beans because I can't eat beans much anymore, but like my daughter just made white chili. So I'm gonna see what kind of beans they have
Okay. All right.
in the can because sometimes you don't feel like, going because beans can take a while to cook if you know.
All right. So before we leave, keep good news. So Eddie Murphy is going to play George Clinton in George Clinton's biopic. The legendary leader of Parliament, Funkadelic,
What?
flashlight, neon light, stoplight, atomic dog. Oof! One nation under a groove, getting down just
Just
for the
for the
funk of
funk
it.
of it.
Knee Deep, which is my ultimate
Oh,
all-time party
not just
song.
needy. She was
She's
totally
not just
needy.
need.
Yes,
Oh, it's
yes,
right.
yes,
I
yes,
remember you.
yes.
So there's a Detroit connection to Knee Deep, and a lot of the songs, the vocal
More
kind
than
of
a
arrangement. You
Yeah,
told me.
my aunt Pat, she
Yes,
just
yes.
passed away. Um, but Pat did all the well, she was originally um a background singer for Isaac Hayes. She was Hot Buttered Soul. And then she went on to do all the arrangement and backup for George Clinton. And George Clinton, for many who don't know, he also lived in Michigan, in Jackson, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
So
so you some of the famous little vocal arrangements and stylings on
yeah,
some of the biggest hits. She did that. You told me that story, so I want you to
yeah.
tell
She's
the
the when
viewers.
you hear the so most famously, well, there are two for George Clinton. Most famously is "Baby Do the Dog Catcher, Baby Do the Dog Catcher."
For
Woo,
Atomic
that's
Dog, that's the
her.
way it starts off.
Yeah, that's her. That was her arrangement
Wow.
and her singing but another famous, and I would say even though the dog is huge, her background vocals for Isaac on Walk On By are legend.
Oh yeah, they are. I forgot. I can hear
Walk
that in my
on.
head. Yes. It was
And Shaq,
enchanting.
who is the man? All that. Shut your mouth.
Oh, that was her
That's
too? Wow.
yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. She just passed away. God rest her soul.
And didn't she do some vocals arrangement or was it on Knee Deep too? Or One Nation Under a Groove?
She did arrangements for
So all that stuff, all the little but
all of George Clinton.
didn't it get the dog catcher? Did it catch dog catcher? Woo!
Yeah. I mean, her sister Diane was George's guitarist. I mean, Pat did everything
so she
for
was in Parliament Funkadelic then.
um
Or maybe
I wouldn't
Parlette, because you know he
I
had a
would
group
yeah,
Parlette
I would
and the
right
Brides of
because
Funkenstein.
the bride's fun. I don't want you to confuse that. But Pat's main function, because by that time she wanted to be at home. She had at that time her youngest son. And so she would be stationary in Michigan. She would travel twice a year into Europe and around, but she didn't want to do the grind. So
Yeah.
she did all the arrangements in the studio. So, and then she arranged for other people. When you think of the song, I forget who, but "Bring Me a Higher Love," you know, that's
Wait a minute.
yeah, she's
That's on the tip of my tongue.
yeah. I can't.
That's a white artist, a pop song. It
Yeah.
was a big
Oh,
record.
but she arranged for all
It escapes
people.
it'll come to me because I can hear it. I played it when I worked at B96 in Chicago in the
Yeah.
mid late '80s. Higher
She
Love.
arranged for Michael Henderson and you just name it. So many people, but
All right, so two more things real quick on musical legends. Tonight, it may be out in Detroit. I don't know if it's out here in the Carolinas. This Luther Vandross documentary
yes, coming out.
is out.
Yeah.
Like tonight,
Oh.
today, it's out.
Oh, is it? I
Yes.
thought
Well, see,
Let
and
me
now
see.
certain cities limited, so I don't know if it's
Limited
out in
release.
Detroit.
Okay.
It should be. Like usually big cities, Detroit, Chicago, New York, Atlanta.
I'm looking it up
Los
now as you're
Angeles.
talking.
But it is out, and I hear it is phenomenal. I mean, Luther from the very, very beginning, because he used to sing jingles for Coca. First, he was a background singer like David Bowie
Yeah.
and Roberta Flack. He worked with her, and he was singing jingles for like Coca-Cola.
Jingles.
And
Yep.
Roberta Flack said, "You like basically, boy, you need to go do a solo album." And he
Yeah.
was singing lead. So from doing the jingles for Coca-Cola, there was a group called Change, The Glow
Yep.
of Love.
Yep.
That album, that Change album, it was like a
That was
white
such a
background with two look almost like pool balls, like
some
when you
of my
play pool.
favorite Luther music.
Yep. So Change, the lead singer, is Luther Vandross, and then he went to release his Never Too Much debut album, and Never Too Much, and A House Is Not a Home, and the rest is history.
And let me tell you this. In the movie, I'm sure we'll talk about it. Never Too Much, by the way, is the movie. It is out, Geno. You are correct. I looked at it.
Is it there in Detroit?
Well, it says everywhere November 1st. So
I'll make it a point to go see that.
Yeah, it said release date November 1st. So I guess it's out.
It's been out, yeah.
But I'm gonna definitely be seeing that sometime next week. When it's quiet in the theater. But what I wanted to say is they may talk about it in the movie, but one of the baddest background singing groups, other than Sissy Houston, who was a background singer for Aretha and others, and a session singer. Sissy was one of the best. But
I didn't know she was a background singer for Aretha. No, I didn't.
Yes.
Wow. I knew she
Why
could
do you
sing.
think? Why do you think Whitney calls Aretha her auntie?
I did not know that Sissy
yeah.
sang background. Wow.
So, but here's a step two. So you get Sissy Houston, who is known. She's one of the premier background singers on the planet. Everybody wants Sissy Houston on their backup.
And then she went solo in the early 70s. She had some R&B, and then she became a big gospel star, doing gospel music.
But she still sang backup up until it was no longer in fashion to have such big background, because now people can, they took a page from Chaka, who created Dubbing Yourself. Oh, yeah. So background singers were no longer as necessary. But anyway, so Sissy gives birth to a little girl named Whitney. Whitney, Luther, Patty Austin become the baddest backup that you want. That's why Luther and Whitney were so close, because they have been singing backup together for years, since she was a teenager.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that I hadn't heard. Now it's amazing. All these years I had not heard that story. That those three, we're singing background. Because I guess they were all
Patty
right
Austin,
there in New York, New Jersey. Yeah, okay.
And Patty Austin is Quincy Jones' goddaughter. Mm-hmm. So and when you hear commercials, Patty Austin, that was her. She see, they came Luther, Patty. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They both were jingle singers. So the three of them were who you wanted. And I mean, there are a few more little groups like a Families that were great backup singers. If you see the movie, it's a documentary, it's old. It's called 6 Feet from Stardom.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you'll hear more about famous background singers, but they did not, for whatever reason, Luther and Whitney and Patty. But the thing about Luther, Whitney, and Patty is that they would go on to be great successes beyond the background. Oh yeah. So that's probably why they weren't featured in the movie, because it was really about the people who never, unsung.
Unsung. Yeah, exactly. Because I know some people that worked on that. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And what was it? I had one more thing. Oh, Denzel fans. Denzel he's going to have a role, some starring any movie. Anytime Denzel's in a movie, he's a star. They're going to have some kind of starring role for Black Panther 3.
I saw that and I thought, is this a joke?
Nope. And he said that's probably going to be his last movie.
I saw that. that this was going to be his last thing before retiring. He's in Gladiator now, right?
Right, and then he's gonna play Hannibal in a
Okay.
Netflix movie.
Okay.
And because the late Chadwick Boseman, who was from South Carolina, um, he was doing Black Panther, he wanted Denzel Washington in it because he said you can't have a Black Panther movie and not have Denzel in it. So
Oh,
I don't know what took so long, but I'm glad it happened. Too bad it didn't happen when Chad was alive. There's a connection between Chadwick Boseman and Denzel. So Chadwick went to Howard University, and I think it was
right.
Debbie Allen kind of got wind of who he was. So I think it was some kind of program Howard had or somebody was having for like aspiring, really talented actors. But it cost cost money.
Right.
And he was a
And
college
he
student.
paid for it. Yeah.
Yep. And without Chadwick knowing about it, Denzel, I think it was Debbie Allen that was the plug between Chadwick and Denzel, and she told Denzel about this young man, and Denzel paid for it. He's another
Wow.
one, Key. I do know this for a fact.
Yeah, he does give a lot.
Denzel Washington is very, very generous. As a matter of fact, August Wilson, legendary Black playwright. Just
Fences.
Google
If
August
you don't know
Wilson
Fences.
and all the great plays on Broadway. Fences turned into a movie. So many. So August Wilson's
I think
nephew,
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I think
yeah,
it's
Ma
one.
Rainey's Black Bottom. So many. I can't even think of all of them. So anyway, August Wilson's nephew is a near dear friend of mine, a brother named Paul Ellis. Still lives in Pittsburgh. August Wilson is from Pittsburgh, a black
Yes,
neighborhood
he
called
is.
the Hill District.
Yep.
That's right near downtown Pittsburgh. And so the bottom line is, Paul was tasked by his late uncle before August Wilson passed, and he put it in writing that he wanted Paul to open up this August Wilson house. It was a place where aspiring actors and singers and playwrights and just people who were in the arts could come and work on and develop their skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it opened up right around when COVID hit.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
But Denzel was very instrumental
In
making
helping.
sure that the money was there to open this the August Wilson House. You can Google it, the August Wilson House in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because Denzel Washington did so much of August's work on stage.
yes,
Because Denzel was a stage actor when he started.
that's right.
He was trained in the classics in theater.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that makes sense that he would. And then he went on to make the movie Fences, make the play into a movie, Fences with Viola Davis. So makes sense.
So we ended with some great news. Go see this
Yep.
Luther documentary It's really like a documentary, I hear, but I heard it is excellent. Can't wait.
Never too much.
Yep. And never too much. Thank you, Key. And because actually, believe it or not, Luther's got a new song. They're sending it out to radio. I can't remember the name because my program director, operations manager, played it for me. And it's Luther. It sounds like Luther. It's not like a house is not a home. It's not that. But it's Luther, and you'll love it because if you love Luther, because he played it for me, I was like, that's Luther. But I was like, oh, so I'm sure they have music in what they call the can or the vault.
Sure.
Because I'm sure Epic still has control. Sony Epic has his masters and everything.
Yeah.
So they knew this documentary was coming out, so they released this single. So, but it's Luther. You'll like it. Like I said, it's not. But don't expect it's not gonna hit you like a house is not a home. I mean, very few songs that's ever been made could hit you like that.
Right.
But it's some good Luther. All right, Key.
Well, I'll be seeing it, Geno. I'm definitely been waiting to see it. I didn't realize it was out this week, so
Yep.
I'm in that number.
Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only, soon to be, we are speaking it into existence because she is making progress, Dr. Kelia Karson.
Thank you.
Key, have a great weekend. I love you, and we'll talk to you
Love you.
soon.
Yes. Hi, Mom.
Yep, because you know she's watching, your number one fan. All right, let me come. Let me come back to my one shot here. Let me do this. Thanks to Key. All right, the weekend is here, everybody. Listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and you, especially you. Most of all, you, God, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles. Tell everybody to subscribe, share, screen grab, rip some of the video, like, binge watch all my back episodes, and leave your comments in the comment section. The Geno Jones Show, the official barber and hairstylist, is Mr. Markel Bailey, the CEO of Designer Cuts. Check him out on IG, on Instagram, KELBECUTTINUP. Kel be cutting up, because Kel be cutting up, as you can see. Allie Jones, she is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist. I like to call her, she's the drip director. All right, the drip is the fashion. Check Allie out, and the Lexi Jones collection. She is a fashion designer, future superstar. Check her and her Lexi Jones collection out on IG, Instagram, LX.N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, underscore behind that second and last L. LX.NCL underscore. All right, you got that? Shout out to Mr. Bruce Gage, also wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. Just check Mr. Bruce Gage out on Instagram. The Mario Uomo and the Flyball collection. Mario Uomo now, Uomo is spelled with a U. It's got the W sound. It's an Italian surname. So Mario, M-A-R-I-O, Uomo, U like umbrella, O like Oprah, M like Mary, O again like Oprah. Mario Uomo on Instagram. Check it out. Have a great weekend, everybody. Monday afternoon, evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, because it's getting dark early now. 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles. Make it a Geno Jones Show binge watch weekend. Thank you for watching, everybody. I love it all. The people's been viewing the show. They couldn't get in the chat room. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was me. I know folks was typing, but I went to the chat, and I don't know. Technology is always something. But anyway, all right, everybody, I love you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.